steam.
Yeah, soon to be steam. So this is not what you want to see out your back door. It's unfortunate. People who buy houses in these areas, they do that because they love the area and it's absolutely beautiful. But they understand that the existence of your house is subject to the geologic conditions of the week. Next slide, please. And this is the lava river. Starts up here, winds down. Lucky person, lucky person, lucky person. That's odd, it's like what's left there now. So anyway, flowing down from the fracture all the way to the ocean. Next slide, please. And out into the ocean. And you can see the little pack of trees here that are still okay. And that represents the center of the lava tubes that are squishing lava out into the ocean. They had some people who were in a boat, and the tour boats like to go up and get close. You can see the lava coming in and the steam going there, and one of the volcanic eruptions kicked a bunch of volcanic bombs out of the ground. So pressure through molten globs of rock, which then solidified on their way down, and one punch right through the top of the boat, that grazed some poor person who was sitting in there, and they're lucky they didn't sink the boat. They turned around and went home immediately, and then the zone of defense was pushed way back so they wouldn't get hit again. And then here we have something going on right down here. Loihi is possibly a new island forming just south of the main island. And if it's slow enough, it actually may end up being the 6th volcano of the Hawaiian island. If it goes slow enough, it'll fill this gap in between the main island and where it's located. There's our landslide. Next slide, please. And this is our infant island. 500,000 years old. Sometime between 10,000 and 100,000 years from now, it's going to pop up over the ocean. And it's 10,000 feet above the Pacific Ocean floor already. And it has just a tiny bit of space to go before it comes up and reaches the surface. Okay. Next slide, please. So we have to talk about the local hotspots. I wanted to mention that hotspots aren't restricted to the oceanic plates. We have a hotspot in Wyoming. It's under Yellowstone National Park. And you can see here's the hotspot in the mantle, and we've got some plume of liquid rock coming up underneath the Yellowstone caldera, and it's causing quite a lot of consternation. There's a lot of people who are saying it's a supervolcano and there'll be a massive eruption and it's going to be the end of all things. But to get that kind of an explosion, you have to have enough pressure on top so you can build up the pressure for such an explosion. And I suppose that happens from time to time. We have some evidence of that, but I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon. The article today said that the biggest risk for that region is a magnitude 7 earthquake, which they're expecting. There's been one, I think it was the late 40s, early 50s, and now there might be another one. So that is an error. I'm going to have to fix that. There's a couple of them here. They're not next to us in British Columbia, although some people are calling the Mammoth Lakes caldera, the Mammoth Mountain caldera area, a supervolcano, because it's a pretty big hole in the ground. All right. And here is Idaho, and there is Yellowstone, and you can see 500,000 to 2 million years, 6 to 4, about 7 to 10 million years ago, and you can see that this hotspot, the continent has been drifting over the top of it. So the Pacific plate, the North American plate's moving that way. 16 million years ago, that part of the plate was actually located here. The hotspot's probably not moving, although some people would argue about that. So the whole thing, let's say 16 million years ago, was over the hotspot. So it's moving like this, very slowly, and then it's changed direction and it's moving that way now. So the continents don't keep the same directionality, they change over time, and the speed as well. Next slide, please. So we've got, up in Chico, California, these huge volcanic deposits that were called flood basalts. They were hundreds of miles across. So what do you think about that? There's no volcano up near Chico. The lava came from a vent hundreds of miles away, and it had to move pretty quickly before it solidified. That is, I don't know about you, but when I was up in Chico, that used to keep me up at night. Where's the volcano, I wanted to know? Well, it's probably lava that came from an earlier version of that hotspot, so probably something right in that area here when that part of the world was actually located over the hotspot. So what does this map out? There's Mount St. Helens. You can see that's the fall of the ash from the 1980 explosion of the mountain. There's a Long Valley caldera that had created an ash bed that spread over that much of the country fairly substantially. There's a Mesa Falls ash bed from the Yellowstone explosion that covered that much, and then there is the Huckleberry ash, ridge ash bed that covered that much. Now, as you get to these sides, it's probably a couple of inches thick, but as you're right in here, it's tens of feet, if not hundreds of feet thick. And then we have the Lava Creek ash bed, ash fall from there. And that's Mary's house, and that's my house right next to it, so. All right, so that's pretty impressive. Some ash did get out here, but not in bed form, even with minor deposits out on the East Coast. So it's a very exciting continent to live on. All right, next slide, please. That didn't go well. So here we are. I have exactly over by 30 seconds. Has anybody got any questions they'd like to ask me? Jake?
I wrote it down so I wouldn't forget while you were doing the slides. If the lava crust is so good at insulating, why don't we use it to surround the houses so the lava doesn't burn the houses?
So that's an interesting idea. They would have to manufacture the house out of the material, and it's very heavy and hard to work with.
No, I'm saying why don't you make like a
berm around your house?
A perimeter around the house.
I don't know that anybody's tried to do that. I know they've dropped bombs on volcanoes to try to shut them down. They've poured water on them to try to stop them. They have built berms. I don't know that they've tried to move a lot of volcanic material. You'd have to mine it and then carry it over to where you wanted it and drop it down again, but it's not a bad idea.
Wow.
Any other questions?
Give us some warning when the simmer comes in.
If you hear a loud squealing, followed by the sound of a tire peeling out, that'll probably be me. So that'll be your first warning that there's a problem. I'll probably be driving up there. Oh, look. I gotta go see it. So very good. All right, thank you so much for your time.
Unbelievable.
Okay, we got our 50-50, right?
I'm slow, we'll get there.
Great job.
There's a whole $11.
And there was David St. Armand here in Richmond, California. Wednesday, August 22nd, 2018. What a presentation. Thank you.
435.